Hello and welcome to today's lesson. We're going to continue looking at perpendicular, and I'm going to throw in parallel lines and their slopes. So I got an example up here, and it says line 1 is parallel to line 2. It says the slope of line 1 is 3 and the slope of line 2 is 4 over k, and we're asked to solve for k. Well, here's the nice thing about this. If the lines are parallel, it means they have to have the same slope. Okay, because parallel lines have the same slopes. So that means that if the slope of L1 is 3 and the slope of L2 is 4 over k, and they're parallel, then these slopes have to be equal. So I'm going to turn the 3 into 3 over 1, so I can just cross multiply and divide. And so my answer for k is 4 times 1 divided by 3, or 4/3. And that's what k is. So that was my first example. Now I'm going to do my second and last example, which will require a grid here. So I'm going to clear the screen, and I'm going to throw a grid up here, and I'm going to move this grid over a little bit. Okay, I'm going to write the question down here, and I'm going to draw it on the grid as we go. So here's the question. We have points A. Point A is at 1, 4. And we have point B. Point B is at 4, 3. And we connect the line segment through these 2 points. So point A is 1 to the right, and then up 4. There's A. And B is at 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up 3. 1, 2, 3. So there's B. And I'm going to connect these points with a line through them. Let's see if I can draw this okay. It's probably close enough. All right, so here's now what the question's asking. We're trying to find a point C on the x-axis. So C is on the x-axis such that the following is true. AB is perpendicular to BC. And of course our job is to figure out where exactly is C. So we have to find out where C is. These are pretty tough questions, but I think the drawing will help. So here we have AB, and now we're looking for point C on the x-axis. So it's somewhere down here, and then from C through B has to be a right angle. These lines have to be perpendicular. So I'm just going to kind of rough it in here. It means we're going to have some line going through B, something like this, so that that's 90 degrees, and point C is somewhere here on the x-axis. So we're looking for the exact coordinates of point C. Well, we kind of know part of the coordinates. We don't know exactly how far we've moved to the right, but we do know that the y coordinate here for that point would be 0. So that gives us some information. So now I'm ready to try to solve for x. How do I do that? Well, I'm going to start off by finding the slope of AB. Okay, so this is the slope of the line going through AB, and I'm going to use our method of plugging in the coordinates of the points. So I'm going to pick one of these points, maybe B here, and put the y coordinate over the x. So 3 over 4, and then minus, minus, and then I'm going to take the coordinates of 1 and 4. So put the 4 over 1. Then I'm going to evaluate what I get. I get negative 1 over 3. So that's the slope of AB. So what does that tell me about the slope of BC? Well, it's supposed to be perpendicular to AB, which means it's got to be the negative reciprocal. So I'm going to flip this over and turn it positive, which means it's got to be 3. So if I take now the coordinates of points B and C, put them in the slope formula, knowing it equals 3, I actually have an equation I can solve. So let's take the coordinates of C, which is x and 0. Okay, so that's going to be 0 over x minus minus. Then I'm going to get the coordinates of B, which is 4, 3. So I'm going to put 3 over 4. That has to equal the slope 3. So all I got to do now is do a little bit of cross multiply so I can get rid of all these fractions and then solve my equation. So here I have negative 3 times 1, so that's going to equal negative 3. And then over on this side I have 3 times x minus 4. So here's an equation that I can now solve. I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So I get negative 1 equals x minus 4. And then I'm going to add 4 over to this side. So it turns out the x coordinate is 3. So where is point C? Point C is at 3, 0. Okay? So that's the answer to this pretty involved question. And that's where I'm going to stop for today. So we will catch you later.